So if you can sit here, all be cognizant of the fact that you've got a camera here. So if you sit roughly there, periodically you can put your head forwards. But if you sit with your entire flight there, it's got a break in the back here. Now I'm going to get in here. I apologise if I headbutt you as I turn around. But there is very little space. There's not much room, is there? Yeah. The other weird thing about the plane, you see that down there, there's two silver canisters. One there, one there behind each ejection seat. Soup warmers. Strategic nuclear bomber designed with soup warmers.
Brilliant. Quintessential British.
That's right, that's right. You deliver the package to Moscow, the five of you then decide it's the end of the world. What do? Well, you have a nice cup of oxtail. You know, very, very British.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, sorry, I need to bring this around. Apologies. That's probably why. That's quite enough. Right, sorry, I'm going to have to move the armrest out of the way. Planning gone out the window. Move that back up. It's going to make it logistically harder for me to get back in. Right. Okay. Bear with me while I go through this rigmarole. Okay. Right. Okay, well. Okay. Another weird thing is because they originally designed it as a single seat, and then they put two in, they ran out of space for the avionics. So they, again, typically British, they built a panel that clips into the floor. This allows you to move fuel around within the wings.
Right.
There's no computers on board. Everything's steam driven. You can also cool as well the control surface. It's 5 years between the Avro Lancaster and the Vulcan bomber. So a lot of it, the gauges in here would look just as good in a Lancaster. The only difference being that they go a little bit higher in here. Okay. Right, so on the ground we will control it using the rudder pedals. So if you put your left, I want both heels on the ground and put your foot up and in, and there should be just the ball of your foot on the rudder pedal.
Yeah.
And I'll know if it's right because if you lift your foot up, you should feel a bar across your toes.
Right, okay.
Can you feel that? It's like a hoop. If you know you're in the, if you're on the rudder pedals properly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but I want the heels back on the floor. We're just going to use the balls of the feet to steer. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Left boot will take your left. Right boot will take your right. Okay? In the air, I'm going to use the yoke. Roll to the left, take your left. Roll to the right, take your right. Push forwards, it'll descend. Right, quite a bit of travel on this, so be careful of the crown jewels. Right, so sit back in that chair. And if we're going to make violent manoeuvres, we tell each other. Right, otherwise, we'll get upset very quickly on this flight. Right? Okay. Just have a feel of that, see what it feels like. No, other hand, you're going to be using that one for the throttles. So, okay, in the air, you're going to be using that. On the ground, you're going to be using your feet to steer. Okay. Throttles, 4 of them, 4 Olympus engines. We operate them as one. Okay. What you'll notice about a jet engine is, as I ask for power, it takes time. Bear with me. Okay, it takes time for it to spool up and time for it to spool down. Watch, there we go. Okay, I'll just hold it there. In fact, what I'm going to do is apply. Right, so we have to be careful with them, and also what we're going to do when we get to the runway, I'll demonstrate a little bit more about how we treat jet engines and why. Instrumentation, Same on both sides, a little bit different on yours in the fact you've got a G meter, positive and negative G.
Yeah.
You have a radio altimeter, a Mach meter, vertical speed, 1,000 feet up, 1,000 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Attitude indicator, left wing, right wing, head in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Speed in knots, 2 dials in one. Outer dial, 100 knots, 100, 200, 300 in the centre.
Right,
Feet, altimeter in feet. Compass, there's no bezel that actually rotates, so west will always be to the left, but the needles will move.
okay. Right, okay, yeah.
And turn and balance coordinator, this we use in conjunction with the attitude indicator. Stops us basically, like drifting is very popular in cars nowadays, so the back end flicking out. We don't want to skid round a corner, so we roll and fly round a corner. So we'll use that to help us do that. On my side, same again, other than the fact that I've got fuel flow and hydraulic pressure and contents. Engines, 4 of them, duplicated, okay? The one we're going to be looking at is this row here. And if you think about it, we're going to be operating them as one, so kind of you only need to glance at one. Periodically, we've got to make sure all 4 are running now. Key speeds, so 40% brisk taxi, walking pace.
Right.
Gives us enough time to control the airframe. If we see somebody jumping out in front of us or something like that, we can stop. 80% cruise. She'll run about 350 knots at 80%. She will purr along, she loves it at that speed.
Mm-hmm.
She'll still fly happily around the 400, 450, but as I say, 350 she's really purring along.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we need to know? For takeoff, we're going to use full power, so that's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a little bit more about when we get there. And the only other thing that we've got here is this little button down there, which is pushed in at the moment. That's for gear. So instead of having a big handle with a wheel on it like we've got in a 737, tiny little button, push it up, it'll go up, push it down, it'll go down.
Right.
There should be 3 greens on there. That's one of the things that's broken with the burglary. And we would have had 3 reds under there when they're in transit. But because I've got the instructor station, I know I've got 3 greens, so I can read that from up there. Okay. Have a look at the fuel load. So I'm just going to instantly refuel. There we go. I'm just going to check. We are at Doncaster International Airport, or DSA, Doncaster Sheffield, or Robin Hood as it's now called. It used to be called Finningley. It used to be a bomber.
Yeah.
It used to be a bomber base.
Right.
Okay. Back to aircraft.
First saw one of these at Waddington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were also at Scampton as well. Right, okay. As in the Wizard of Oz, we have a yellow brick road to follow. So you can see that there's a yellow line with black edges.
Mm-hmm.
It's going all the way around there. We're going to follow that out to the active runway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put right hand on there, a little squeeze of power. Not too much. You remember it takes time to happen. I will take the parking brake off, and once we've broken that inertia, left boot will follow that line round. Thing to remember, about 5 or 6 feet behind us is the nose wheel. We're steering the nose wheel with the rudder pedals.
Ah, right. Okay,
So
yeah.
when we come to a junction, we have to go over the point where we're going to make that turn, because we're sitting ahead of the thing that's actually moving.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so let's crack on. So if you right hand on there, left hand on here gently. That's not of any use, but I just want to get used to holding it.
Yeah.
Squeeze the throttles very gently just to break that inertia. There you are, she's starting to move. Okay. And use your rudder pedals, so plenty of left boot. And we will turn. Bring it all the way around. That's lovely. Right, okay. So, if we go forwards now, along there, we're going to go past the Hunter and along that taxiway. Okay. not going to go too fast because remember, we've got to be able to stop if we want. No, hold the throttles, don't let go of them. Always need to be in control. Right, a little bit on the grass, so we've got a set of wheels on the grass. They're going to be travelling slightly slower than the ones at my side. So when we come to this junction, we're going to go left, come back, so wait, get over the junction, now left boot. There's plenty of left. Oops. Okay, no worries, just a little bit too fast. Right, okay, nice, just a walking pace please. Taxi along here until we get to the junction and then we'll be taking a right. Okay, what you want to do is you want to, like you, I can feel that you're sort of like going left, right, so you're basically chasing it. Just let it settle and try and not do instantly the opposite, because otherwise you're going to get like that Newton's cradle effect, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Sent the fire truck for you. Okay, and we're going to go right at this next intersection. So follow the yellow line round to the right. That's it. We're going to go over the point and then round to the right. Yep, go right boot, right boot, right boot. Now this is the hold, but we are number one. There's no other aircraft today, so we can then line up on this runway. So we're going to turn right onto the active runway and then come to a halt. Slow down. Lot of right boot now. Right boot, right boot, right boot, right boot. Okay, bring it round here. Then I want to line up. No, I want to be in the centre of here. Okay. Right. So. Engines, jets, for the use of. Low speeds, unpredictable. They'll all be giving slightly different amounts of power. Right. So what we'll do is the same as we would do in a conventional holiday jet. We're going to set 40%.
Right, okay.
We set 40%, and basically what we're waiting for is all the engines to start behaving in a similar manner. Okay? If they're producing slightly different amounts of power, either left or right hand side, then it will start to turn the airframe. Right. So we get weathercocking happening, and also it's what they call asymmetric thrust. It's going to turn the aircraft, whichever one is developing more thrust, in the direction of. By putting it to 40%, we're kind of saying that they're going to be there and behaving as one. I will call stable when I'm happy, and then I will ask you to set takeoff thrust. When I say set takeoff thrust, you'll move them all the way to the firewall and you'll hold them there. Okay?
Right, yeah.
That'll give you 100%. Yeah? In flight, when we need to slow down, we've got two air brakes here. These are little slats that pop out above and below the air intakes. They create a bit of drag. If we really do need a lot of drag, we'll just pop the gear down. That'll really disrupt the airflow. One thing that's sort of like unique to Delta Wing aircraft is the fact that, like all aircraft, if we go too slow, we lose that laminar flow over the wing and we'll stall. Yeah. Right. So basically, as the air rushes over the wing, it's going to go travel faster across the top than it does across the bottom, and therefore you get sucked off the ground. That's lift. Yeah. As that flow is reduced, you will lose lift because of the difference in pressure changes. Okay, it's reduced. Happens in every single aircraft. That's how we fly. Delta winged aircraft, we cannot alter the shape of the wing. So we've got no slats at the front and we've got no flaps at the back. All we can do is tilt or pitch the whole entire airframe. Because if you think about it, the whole of the body is the wing.
Yeah.
We have very small, at the rear trailing edge of that big wing, we have a very set of small elevators and ailerons. When we have a look at the model on the way out, you'll see just how tiny they are compared to the actual wing. As we approach supersonic speed, this is where it's different to conventional aircraft, that airflow over the wing will start to diverge to the point where as we go supersonic it hits it and just basically bounces off. That's because air has mass, and the sound barrier is a physical force. Yeah? As the air diverges, we lose that laminar flow, which means that those control surfaces become absolutely inactive.
Right.
They've got nothing to bite against. So we can crash by going too fast.
Right, okay.
Okay? Something to watch out for. Okay, takeoff. When I do call set takeoff thrust and you put it to the firewall, I'll be looking for 140 knots. At 140 knots, I will say rotate. You will pull back on that column nice and gently, and you'll raise the nose to a 10-degree pitch. Keep the wings level. We're going to basically climb out on the runway heading, and we're going to go all the way to 30,000 feet.
Right, okay.
Okay, so it'll be a fistful of power. You'll be controlling the wings with this, and you'll be controlling the pitch with this as well, and not above 10.
Is it that line on 10 or that line?
That middle line
Yeah.
up to 10.
Cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
When we come to landing, so 350 knots is what we'll travel at in the cruise, or faster, depending what part of the mission we're doing. When we come to start landing, we're going to be travelling about 200 knots. We'll get the gear down, be a lot more drag. Final approach, we want to be about 180, and over the numbers we want to be about 140. And at 140, you'll just basically, gravity will take over, and all 70 tons will glide back to the runway.
Right.
As we come into land, right at the last minute, you'll just pitch the nose very slightly up, and that will basically just cause it to stall at the last minute, and the wheels will engage with the runway. Okay, you'll hear them squeal. It'll pull the front end of the nose down. It'll sink. Steer with your feet. Okay, and we should come to a halt.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions in the back? All good? All happy?
Time? Yes.
Yep. Good.
Hanging on.
Yeah. Don't worry. The sensation of movement will be there. You'll definitely pick that up, especially when we're low level in the Lake District. Okay. So if you could set me 40%, please. I'm going to call stable and set takeoff thrust. Okay, steer with your feet. If at any time I have a problem up to 140 knots, I will keep your hands on the throttles. I will shout reject, reject. Up to I will keep that nose down and get spare speed. Spare speed is alive. Steer with your feet. And rotate. Wings level. 10 degrees nose up attitude. Keep that throttle there. Wings level. Okay. Positive rate. Put the gear up. that nose up just on that horizon. Okay, don't use this as an armrest. Power back. Keep that there. Okay, roll level for me. And as you roll level, you're going to have to push that nose down because you've been pulled back on it. Okay, so we're going to try a turn to the left. 30 degrees again. No more. Hold it there. 30 degrees. That nose is dropping, so hold back on that nose and get that drop back on that horizon. That big horizon out there is just a representation of this, but that one's for free. It's a lot bigger, so that's easier. Yeah.
done. Nice one.
First landing done.
Superb.
Right, so I'm just going to reposition us, and I'm going to go to yeah, we know we'll go there. We'll go to Rio. So we're going to go 3 miles final on Rio.
Right, cool. Textbook, eh?
Hey, no, you've done all right. Yeah,
You've done
well.
really
You
well.
really have. You really have.
Yeah, this is Rio. Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
Right, so Rio de Janeiro.
Excellent.
We have, let's have a look. The figure of Christ is directly abeam on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
You can just see a faint grey statue.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's the Santos Dumont,
Mm-hmm.
Mount of Christ. You have a ridge here, prominence to the right.
Mm-hmm.
We have a cable car stretching
right.
about 45 degrees.
We're going under that, are we?
We're going to go under that. We're going to go across the bay, and we've got 2 parallel runways.
Right.
The same as we did before, going into Wharton. We've got white and red lights, PAPIs, precision approach indicator.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep 2 whites, 2 reds. More reds we see, we're low, pull up. More whites, white fluffy clouds, push down.
Right, okay.
And if we keep 2 and 2, 3 degrees all the way to the runway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to set some power, take the speed brakes off, gear is down, and we had it indicated, and ready to rock and roll. I'm going to unfreeze the sim, and you're flying the airframe. So, point that at the ground, we're going to hit the ground. A little bit of power. 200 knots, gear is down, so 3 wheels. 2 whites, 2 reds, that's all good. Right, a little bit more white, and nose down. A lot of power there, so you get that power coming back. A lot of power to get rid of. Set some brakes on. Really hot. Well, let's try this out with you and see what we can do. So, a little bit of back pressure, just nose down, stick with your feet. Stick with your feet. There we go. Yeah. Might do a Michael Caine and just stop. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Good one, right on the centre line.
Cool.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, we will swap you over.
Well, listen, no, tell you what, I'm happy as we are.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm happy as we are, honestly.
Sure you don't want to fly?
No, I'm happy as we are. I'll be the bomber.
Because you know, this is your opportunity.
No,
Go on.
I'm happy as it. Honestly,
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's your
No,
present.
I'm alright,
No,
mate,
no,
honestly.
Neil, carry on. I think you're doing brilliant.
Well,
Are you sure? I'm what's
No,
it?
I'm fine.
you've got the extra time, so you
So
can.
long as I get my picture taken.
We'll do a picture, but as I say, I mean, you can have a.
No, it's brilliant sat here watching all this. It's
Are you sure?
yeah, yeah.
Have a go.
Yeah, go on,
Okay.
Neil, no, it's.
So what we're going to do is let's just have a look. I'm sure we've got the lights off again. Put this back, and we'll do that all again.
Mm-hmm.
This time, on the ball earlier. I don't want to be as fast.
Sure, yeah. I don't think I'd picked up the runways quickly enough, to be
Alright.
honest. It would be like that.
Okay. Well,
I can see him
it
now.
went wrong at the beginning because
Yeah.
you let the nose drop.
Yeah,
So
right.
wherever that grey probe points, remember,
Mm-hmm.
if it's pointing at that mountain,
And
that's
that's
where
it.
we're going to end up.
Yeah.
So instantly, as soon as you start flying, you've got to get it just above the ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little bit of power. Hands on there. That's right. Keys down. Ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, power now, because we don't want to go below that 200 knots, do we? Big flying. got 2 and 2, great. Start to sink, keep it flying. Yeah, a little bit longer. I just hit that seawall. Right, okay. Beauty of the sim, we can put it right back. Okay. Power. Okay, ready? Watch that nose when you set off. Oh. Power, that's flying, that's what we're going wrong, so it's got to go right from the beginning. Power, keep your hands on here. Right, 2 and 2, that's where you want to be. Lots of white, so we're a little bit high. Don't dive, but it's starting to come back in, yeah? Where that threshold is. Just at the speed. Dropping away, your speed's dropping away. Alright, we're going to do the same, I think, again. It's literally about 50 feet. Try again. So right at the beginning,
it's
we have this like silly 30 seconds.
Right,
that 30 seconds is causing that problem down the other end. Right, power, right? That nose up. Never drive with that on the ground. Use your feet.
It's all going so well. You should have got in this seat. Right.
Right. Let's try again. Nose. Let's make it come straight away. Right, okay, let's try another airport.
Kai-Tak used to be a good one, didn't it?
Unfortunately, I can't get us to Kai-Tak on this one, but I will do. Let's have a look. That. I'm gonna do. Back on there. Right,
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar.
Lovely. You've got your water wings.
Yeah. So similar actually in look to Rio, as you'll see. So you've got a mountain to your right, and you've got water in front of you and water behind you. So but a lot shorter runway.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So power. Brakes are off. Gears down. We're gonna have a crack again, yeah.
Mhm.
So let's keep it flying. 200 knots is what we want to keep on that. First part of the approach. Quite a way to go before we get there. There are some, but if you just keep aiming for that threshold, keep your hands on the throttles. Imagine if you had to do a go round and your hands are not on the throttles, what would happen? Okay. Put you back again, we'll do that one.
Yeah. Was that wind then that was pushing it to the left? Or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've got to keep it on the centre line as
Right,
well as
yeah.
also that attitude to get to it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fistful of power, please. There we go. Keep that nose up slightly and keep flying a little bit longer. There we go. When you get blown this way, so you're going to have to turn that way around. We're going to land a long way down that runway. Thumbs up slightly. Stay with your feet.
How strong is that wind?
Okay. Try. Right. Okay. Know where we are?
No, go on.
Isle of Man.
All right.
Okay. So, approach over the land. We obviously got the runway going straight into the sea, so we can presumably come a jet ski again. But there's also cliffs, I believe, at the end of this one, so it's quite a drop down if we go over the end. Right. Same modus operandi. 2 whites, 2 reds. Let's keep it flying before we get that. Thumbs up. good?
Yeah, brilliant.
Enjoy that?
Really
You
good.
used to recite, you know.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Right, I'm going to pop and go and get a camera. We're gonna get
Okay.
you into this seat while I'm not getting the camera, yeah?
Yeah.
So you stay there.
Yeah. What do you reckon? An average performance after no flying
Yeah, it was
experience?
good.
Alright.
It was good. I mean, we didn't crash, so
Well, yeah.
yeah, a couple of bouncy ones.
Yeah.
but Hey, anyone you can walk away from. It's a good one. Okay, so you get that right-hand seat.
Yep.
Oh, it's good that, wasn't it, Rob? You could have had a go, you know.
No, fine, don't worry. Don't worry. Fuck off.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, flying down the lanes, that was the best bit, lane district,
Oh, look
lane
at
wind
that.
of it and all
Going
that.
up that mountain if you're not careful. No, it is. It's an experience, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, Stephen's just sat there, like, you know, it's,
Yeah.
it really is.
Oh, it's good. Spend hours sweating, oh, it's a bit stressful.
I went on and watched it, and I was going on holidays to Portugal, and I went to the toilet, and when I come out, this is years ago,
Yeah,
when you used to go on the flight deck.
yeah,
And as I
yeah.
came out, like, she said, do you want to go on the flight deck? So I said, can I? She said, yeah. I said, can I get my son? So I got Gareth.
Yeah.
And we were on the flight deck and we stood like this.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you see other planes coming at you lower down, how fast you go. Because they let me before 9/11. We was going to Cyprus once with Rachel, mum and dad. There's no one else on the plane hardly, and they let us in. I sat with them for about 30 minutes during the flight. The cockpit was great.
Pop that down there. So if you basically put your arms and elbows on these armrests and then lean back and look towards me, right, you get a nice view. In fact, you've stolen the Vulcan bomber and been to Rio. It's like, just look forwards like that, so it's just literally the pyramids and bouncing. Nice. So if your foot goes back, come to the settee, and we'll sort of,
You go first. Yeah, you go first. Tight, innit? Don't think there's much.
I asked him, and he was really,
Yeah. I bet you don't have much
I
chance.
mean, alright, we weren't all sat there like that.
I know, yeah, but you don't have much chance of getting out in it. If you got a bit dodgy, would you?